here tonight. I'm glad y'all were able to join us. Tonight, we're going to talk about comparison being the thief of joy. I would like for Kelly, can you give me a win for the week?
So I'll say my win for the day is I've been just like super, super busy. It's only Tuesday and I've had a really crazy week so far. And so I didn't get in my workout this morning, which is when I usually like to do it. But I did get in a quick workout this afternoon. But my most favorite win of the day was what I had for dinner, and that would be my black bean fajita bowl, which was absolutely amazing and delicious.
Well, that sounds awesome. Sarah, you want to give us a win for the week? I'm going to try to switch my sound.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Sarah.
Sarah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my win is that I actually did my workout. So that's it.
That's awesome. We know it's a little chaotic for you right now, so that's
Yep.
a good thing. Well, we're glad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. If y'all want to, if everybody will turn your sound off so we're going to start with I'm going to share my screen. Share it. Can y'all see my screen now?
Yes.
Present it. Now can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay, we're moving on, guys. Okay, so we're talking about comparison being the thief of joy. And why is comparison not a great approach? Because we're normally not comparing the same thing, right? Grayson asked me today, he said, why is comparison not a good thing? And I said, because what if Link is comparing himself to Grayson, who is 4 years older, with reading, and Link is disappointed that he can't read because he's comparing himself to something that is not close to him. And as women, we have a tendency to do that. I see men do that too, but probably not as brutally as women do. So the Wikipedia definition of comparison, just so we kind of have an idea of what we're talking about, is a comparison or comparing is the act of evaluating two or more things, determining the relevant comparable characteristics, la da 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 da. So that's terrible. That just doesn't seem to hit well with me at all. But Theodore Roosevelt, he had it right. He said comparison is the thief of joy, and I think that he was 100% correct. Can y'all give me some things? Have you ever had an issue with comparison in the past? Maybe you've compared yourself to somebody, or somebody has compared themselves to you that did not end well. If somebody has anything they'd like to share, you can share in the chat or you can unmute.
Well, I'll say, I mean, I don't know that I would say before I knew better that I might compare myself to others and think, oh, well, why can't I be as skinny as her or something like that? But then I think you have to learn to accept your body for who you are and know that you are an original and we're all wonderfully and beautifully made. And so when you do that, it ends up being it steals your joy. That would be the negative consequence. Maybe not it had some huge major impact, but it does affect your day and how you feel about yourself and can put you in a negative place.
I 100% agree because if we are comparing ourselves to others, we're going to possibly exaggerate our perception of our imperfections. I laughed. I used to work with a lady who would say, I hear that we shouldn't look at our faces with magnifying mirrors because it makes us think that other people see us that way. And I always thought that was funny because that wasn't how I saw that situation. So I had never thought about that before. But, instead of recognizing that no one is perfect, comparisons can make us feel hyper focused on our shortcomings. And we don't see other people's struggles. So we need to focus more on our strengths, right? So perfectionism, this first part, it talks about implying above criticism. So it's like you're perfect. There's no more work that needs to be done. It's kind of an escape for negative feelings. That's what we think it is. But perfectionism is toxic. It really is. And anybody on this call or anybody that watches this or listens to it will know, because we've all been guilty at some point. It can be soul crushing if we just always think that everything we do has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we can get to a point that we alienate and push people away. And I don't necessarily, I don't hold other people to impossible standards, but I have been guilty in the past of holding myself to an impossible standard. And on the research that I did for preparing this, it talked about that, it's a step away from self-abuse because it is extremely unhealthy. And we have to really be careful that, I passed that perfectionism on to my children, and I regret that because it's just more work on the back end that they have to do. Because now that I know, I had to figure that out, but now they have to figure that out too. Y'all feel free to jump in anytime if something resonates with you that you want to say something on. So focusing on our shortcomings and flaws can lead to toxic, negative beliefs. Sometimes we can work with people, or sometimes we can be around people that feel like they try to make us feel that we're not worthy of whatever the situation is. And that can end up impacting our mental health, and it can also impact our relationship with our food. Is anybody else in the group a stress eater? You can give me a thumbs up, or I am definitely a stress eater, so I understand that. So I just keep fruit in the house. So when I start to stress eat and I can't stop and think about it, or I forget to stop and think about it, at least I'm eating fruit. But these thoughts can damage how we show up for ourselves and how we show up for our family and our coworkers. This is, to me, some just really extremely sad numbers that at the age of 13 in this one research study, 53% of American girls are unhappy with their bodies. And this number grows to 78% by the time the girls reach 17. On this call, we are all older than that, but we remember what that was like. And then the numbers really don't get any better. 43% of teens said they were happy with their body. And this number blew me away. 37% of women in their 60s said they were comfortable. To me, those numbers are really big and really sad, because that's not what we need to be focusing on as women. We need to be focusing on what we bring to the table, which should not be our body image, but the negative thoughts, they come from outside. We see so much social media, TV and movies, and just comparing ourselves to images that are unrealistic makes us sad if we don't know. And a lot of people just don't know. So I love this picture. A lot of these Instagram people and a lot of these social media people will post these Instagram versus reality pictures. So, just because I heard one girl say that she had to take over 1,000 pictures to get one shot that she wanted for her social media account. That's obsessive, you know. So it's when we live in the day, in the present, in our current atmosphere, that's where we find our wisdom, and that's where we grow, and that's how we find our joy. And our focus can't be on what everybody else is doing and what everybody else thinks. Um, the content on social media, it's heavily curated. There's airbrushing and posing and lighting, and there's no way that we can look at that and think that that's real and expect expect us to be that way. We have to get comfortable with who we are, work on ourselves, make sure we're healthy, because strong to me is the new skinny. It's not about being skinny. It's about being strong and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So, jealousy and resentment, it can cause us to want what other people have and to focus on what they have and what we don't have instead of being thankful for what we do have. And it can lead to a strain on our relationships. And we can pull away from those relationships. So I always go back to when 1 Peter 2:1 says, so get rid of all evil behavior, be done with all deceit, hypocrisy, jealousy, and all unkind speech. Compare that one tiny scripture to what we see today in social media. It's sad, because the deceit and the hypocrisy and the jealousy and the unkind speech, that's all of that is just normal today. Everybody thinks that that's okay, and it's not. So we need to stay in our lane. We need to focus our energy on ourselves. What are we doing to make progress, and how are we going about it? I loved it earlier. Sarah was like, I got my workout in. Sometimes it's just those very tiny wins that keep us on track, that get us going. Brienne said, I made my breakfast, I made my lunch. And when you're really busy throughout the day, it's so easy to just be able to go in and grab what you need and not have to think about it and move on. It makes a difference. So I'm really proud of everybody for sharing what they're doing, and for really focusing on what's going to help you get better. How are we going to grow as individuals? So we need to celebrate our small victories, because they're important, and they just compound on top of each other. So it ends up those small little wins, when we can celebrate them, that we know that that's going to work out in the end to be a big accomplishment, that they just build on each other. Are y'all still with me? I'm going to take that as a yes. So this is the old Kim, and Kelly said this earlier. She said, before I knew, right? Before I knew. So my whole thing was, what will others think of me? I was way too serious, and I have to really watch myself, because I still can be way too serious. Constantly felt like I was never good enough, not comfortable in my own skin, and way too worried about what everybody else thought. And you know what, guys? And y'all just think what you will, but nobody else is thinking about you. They're too busy thinking about themselves. That took me a long time to learn it, but since I've learned it, it has changed my life. So the new Kim, so many less negative feelings. I love to celebrate others and their wins and accomplishments, because now that I'm not so worried about what everybody else thinks about me, I can focus on building other people up. And I'm very comfortable being me. And I say this all the time, and what others think of me is none of my business. I cannot control what anybody else thinks, and neither can you. So you be you, and you don't worry about what everybody else thinks or what everybody else is doing, because there is not another you. You are unique, and you need to conduct yourselves in that manner. So I want you to keep in mind that personal power equals metabolic power. So let's just tease that out a little bit. So we can, with our thoughts, help influence our metabolism, our calorie burning capacity, our immune function, digestion, and muscle building. So I have this little piece over here that says, be you and go hard. You, you be you, and you be the best you that you can be. And some days, guys, that means you're going to just make it through your day. You may not get your workout in. You may not make the best meal. You may eat something that you hadn't planned on eating. That's okay. We win the next day. We win the next meal. When we think positive and loving thoughts about ourselves, we can turn off the sympathetic nervous system and encourage the parasympathetic nervous system. So our thoughts matter. Grayson's looking at me saying, what does that mean?
Really, what?
So we have a little bit of homework this week. So where in your life do you compare yourselves with others? How does it make you feel? Who do you compare yourself with, and how does it impact your life, your actions, your decisions, and your inner world? And is there a time where comparison helped you? I'm just curious on that last one, but I want you to think on those first 3 bullets. I want you to think about that this week, about your comparisons. And I'm going to tell you that I spent a lot of my life worried what other people were saying or thinking about me. And so I didn't do a lot of stuff that I wanted to do. And I'm not like that any longer. I'm not going to let what I think somebody else's feelings may be about me, not let me do what I want to do. But does anybody have a time in their life where maybe a comparison helped you that you'd like to share? Take that as a no.
That I don't have a specific recall of something to give as an example, but I think that if it's done in a healthy way, like you could strive to do something better or be better, but you don't have to exactly be that person. Like you just see maybe they're successful in some part of their life and you think, oh, well, I could probably be better at that too if I, do this or make these tweaks. I think you can do that if your mind is right and you're coming from a healthy place to do it.
I 100% agree. I can look at people and know that I can learn from them, and know that, if I see somebody do something, now I think, well, I could do that too if I tried, if I worked at it. I don't think I'm instantly going to get things, but I know that I can do it if I try, if that makes any, if that makes any sense. So my last slide is from Psalms. It's the Psalm 139, 14 and 15. And it says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I love this because when it comes to comparison, no one compares to you. You have your own special gifts. You have your own special talents. You were intricately woven in the depths of the earth, according to that scripture. And I don't ever want us to forget that, because God made you just as you are. And we were born for a time such as this. So what can we bring to the table that nobody else can? How are we making a difference, not only in our lives, what are we doing to make ourselves strong, to make ourselves happy, to have that joy that no one else can take away? But when we live that way, our family sees that, our children see that, our grandkids see that. That's our legacy that we're leaving behind. And we need to really work on being ourselves, being strong, and being smart. And we can do that because God made us that way. Does anybody have any? I'm going to stop sharing. Now that I finally got it to share, I'm going to stop it.
Stop share.
Does anybody have anything that they would like to share that maybe I missed, maybe something that hit home?
So I'm sorry, I didn't know that you had that verse that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, and that's what I said in the very beginning.
Oh,
But
I
that
know.
is true.
Yeah.
But that is so true.
Yeah.
And um, when you're saying that, that we're strong and we're happy, so I'm going to bring exercise into this whole thing.
Absolutely.
And so it's not only being physically strong, but you're talking about being mentally strong too.
Yes.
And exercise not only makes you physically strong, but it also makes you mentally strong because research shows that it does take stress out of your life and just help with it can help with depression or stress. And so, doing those workouts, it really does help you get strong, not only physically, but mentally.
I
So
agree.
that's just my pitch for working out.
And it doesn't have to be a 45 minute, an hour workout. Sometimes we can get in 20 minutes and we've gotten in 20 minutes that we normally wouldn't have gotten in. And I find the more that I work out, the more I want to work out and the stronger I feel when I do it. It makes a difference. It makes a big difference. And I agree, it does. There are times I just want to get out and walk and just clear my head. You just walk away and it reduces stress. It gives you time to think. And I think that that's very important. That's a very good point.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we are running out of time. So I hope everybody got something out of the call today. If y'all have any questions or have a topic that y'all would like for us to cover, just put it in the community in the app, and we will get started on it. If you have any questions that you want to ask or anything like that, I hope that everybody has a great week, and y'all try to get your meals in and try to get your workouts done.
Thank you. This was an awesome topic. Thank you very much.
And we will see y'all later. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.